Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the final day of our Sustainable Living Week. As usual, today we have an assembly full of examples of the lovely work that you have sent in and a reminder of what we've learned this week. So let's start with everything that we have learned so far this week. So far, we've learned that sustainability is a way of using resources that could continue forever without running out or causing harm. On Tuesday, we learned that we don't really need so much stuff. Remember how happy the magpies were when they could finally find their chicks? So sometimes we like having lots of stuff like clothes, but we have to remember that making all of this stuff requires lots of resources from our planet, and a lot of it ends up as waste. Our linear take, make, use, waste economy is changing to a circular one where we won't produce any waste. And at the moment, the fashion industry has a very big impact on the climate, the environment, and people. So the move to a circular economy is very good news. Tuesday, again, we learned that the cotton clothes industry involves lots of pesticides, water use, and water pollution, toxic chemicals, and low wages. But we still buy around 2 billion cotton t-shirts every single year. There are better ways of doing this, like, for example, choosing fair trade and organic. And then on Wednesday, we learned that there really is no away when we send our clothes away. They end up in countries in the global south, like Ghana, where people are paying the real price for our passion for clothes. But good things are happening. We need to remember that too. For example, organizations like the Orr Foundation and many others are working hard to support people affected, bringing change and making fashion companies become more responsible. And companies like Cool Schools and ACS Clothing, who we heard from earlier this week, are showing that looking after people and the environment while working in a sustainable and circular way is completely possible. And we can be part of this change too. For example, by wearing with care and for longer, by thinking twice before buying something. Do we really need it? Swapping, renting, or borrowing clothes, and learning how to repair. And this applies not only to clothes, but to many other products that we use every day. Do you have your pens and whiteboards ready? Because now it's quiz time. Don't worry if you missed a couple of the lessons this week and are waiting to catch up with the recordings, that's okay. Quiz is just for fun to see how much you remember and what we've learned. Split your classroom down the middle and play in 2 teams, or play as a class and share your answers together. It's up to you how you play. Our first question is, which of the following textiles are made from natural fibers? Is it A, acrylic, B, elastane, C, polyester, or D, linen? Now, don't share your answers in the chat because people are going to take your answers. So write your answers down on the whiteboard. No, it's okay. It's all right. Write your answers on the whiteboard and we're going to total them up and you can let me know how you did at the end of the quiz. So you need to pick the one that is made from natural fibers. See which one you think. And don't worry if you have shared your answer, that's okay. Because we're going to look at all the answers at the very end. Right, are we ready for the second question? Let's try number 2. True or false? This piece of clothing is biodegradable. Remember what biodegradable means is that it will return to the soil as if nothing was there. Do you remember the example that our speaker from ACS Clothing showed us? where they had buried a whole bunch of different types of fabric in the soil. And some of them disappeared after a year and some of them didn't. So look closely at this label and have a think if you think it would disappear completely if it was buried in the soil. Is it true or false? It's made of several different materials. So you need to have a think about all of the materials that are in that piece of clothing. Okay. Question 3. How many bathtubs full of water does it take to make one t-shirt? Is it 10, 20, or 30? It's quite a lot. Even 10 is quite a lot. This is one of the facts that we learned earlier this week. Let's see if you can remember. Just for one single t-shirt. And remember, we buy 2 billion of these every year, so that's going to add up quite quickly. Okay, question 4. How long does it take to grow and make a cotton t-shirt? So we're talking about growing all of the cotton plants and then harvesting them, making the material, and then sewing the final t-shirt. Is it 3 months, maybe 6 months, or 1 year? And then again, thinking of the 2 billion shirts, that's a lot of time that's going to add up, even if it's 3 months. Right? On to question 5. What happens to most of the clothes and textiles thrown away in the UK every year? Do you think they end up in landfill? Or do you think maybe they're reused? Or are they recycled? The tricky one. Have a guess at which one you think it might be. And then we'll move on to question 6. How much extra clothing use do you get if you repair your clothes? Is it 35%, so about a third more? Or maybe 55%, so half again more? Or is it 75%, or 3/4 more? And you can see the picture there, someone's sewing on a button. So some of the repairs that you might make to your clothes are if buttons fall off or little holes in them, maybe you ripped the knee of your jeans, all things like that. Question 7. So you might see these kinds of symbols on clothing labels. Do we know what it means? So maybe this means don't iron that piece of clothing, or maybe it means you can iron it, but the iron has to be on a cool setting because irons have different temperatures. Or maybe it means you can iron it on a hot setting. And it's important to know what these symbols mean because by taking good care of our clothes, we make them last longer. So depending on what the symbols say, if you wash something on the wrong setting or you iron it on too hot a setting, you can damage the clothing and then it won't last as long. So what do you think this particular symbol means? Move on to question 8. Here's another symbol. And what do we think this one means? Does it mean maybe don't put it in a tumble dryer or do not dry clean? Or that you can hand wash it only because some things are very delicate and you can only wash them outside of a washing machine in a tub of water. Let's see, have a guess and see which one you think this means. Maybe some of you help out with the laundry at home, so you're able to tell what these symbols can mean. And we'll move on to question 9. What does this symbol on a clothing label mean? Does it mean, excuse me, that you can put it on a standard wash cycle, a low spin wash, or a delicate wash? If you look at a washing machine, you'll see that it usually has a dial or buttons that choose different types of cycles, so different kinds of washing. Some of them last longer, some of them spin more, And some of them are for things that are quite delicate, so it doesn't spin as much. So have a guess and see which one you think this one would be. What kind of clothing do you think? Maybe when you get home today, you can have a look at your washing machine at home, if you've got one, and have a look at all the different cycles that are on there. See which ones that you think you would use most often for the kinds of clothes that you wear. Right. Now, our final question is, what can you do to help make fashion more environmentally friendly? Do you think maybe you could buy fewer items of clothing each year, or take care of your clothes and wear them for longer, or maybe learn how to repair your clothes, or D, all of the above? Which one do you think? Quite a few things that we can all do. And I love the picture there because it's made up of different pieces of clothing, but they're all in a recycle symbol. I think that's quite effective. Right, if we're ready, let's see how we've done. How did you do? Total up your answers and let's see. You can let me know in the chat how you did. We're going to give you the answers and how we chat about them. So the answers so far are, to have another look at the questions. Which of the following textiles are made from natural fibers? And our choices could be acrylic, elastane, polyester, and linen, excuse me. And the answer is linen, which is made from the fibers of the flax plant. Polyester and acrylic are both types of synthetic fibers, which are made from plastics, and elastane is as well. And question 2, if you remember this label here, is it biodegradable, yes or no? And the answer is no, because it contains, if you notice, it contains 38% nylon, which is a synthetic fiber. It's made of plastics and it will not disappear if you put it in the ground. It's not biodegradable. Question 3 was, how many bathtubs full of water does it take to make only one t-shirt? And the answer is a surprising 30, which is 2,700 liters of water. If you had a bath every day, sorry, for a whole month, every single day, that's a lot of water for just one t-shirt. And then remember that we buy 2 billion of them. If somebody would like to do the maths and figure out how many liters of water are in 2 billion t-shirts, that would be quite a huge number. And our fourth question is, how long does it take to grow and make a cotton t-shirt? And it takes a whole year to make just one, to grow all the fibers, to harvest them, to spin the threads to make the material, sew the t-shirt, and have it be in the shops. And what happens to most of the clothing that we buy? Well, unfortunately, out of 3.1 kilograms of clothing waste per person per year, which is about as much as we each of us waste in the UK, 1.7 kilograms, which is just about half, goes to landfill. And only a small percentage of it is reused or recycled. So I think we can do a lot better than that. And on repairing our clothes, you get 75% extra use from clothes if you repair them. So you make them last 3/4 as long, which is good. It's a good skill to learn. But this symbol means that you can iron it, but it has to be on a cool setting. Right? The one dot inside the symbol of the iron means it has to be cool. Right? And then question 8. This symbol means please don't tumble dry this particular piece of clothing because it could be damaged. Maybe it's delicate, maybe it has something fancy on the front. Question 9 is C, delicate wash. You can see the bars underneath. This tub of water means that this piece of this clothing is also delicate and needs extra care. And question 10, bit of a trick question because the answer is all of the above. We can buy fewer items of clothing, wear them longer, and repair them. And that is all things that we can do to help make fashion more environmentally friendly. Right. So now we're going to look at all of the photos that you have sent in. Please, while I'm showing these, please feel free to let me know how you did in the quiz in the chat. I'd love to hear how many you got right. But these are some examples of the great things that you have sent in, your pictures of magpies, photos of you enjoying the lessons, and all kinds of good stuff. That was fantastic. Thank you so much for sending all of those wonderful photographs in. I just have to go back to this one though, because our Chief Executive Officer, Barry, who is in our meeting today, having a look, he wanted to share the repair work on the elbow of one of his favorite jumpers because he's worn it so many times that the elbow wore through. They had a big hole in there. So his partner darned it for him using special stitches for woven things, and it's as good as new again and ready for more adventures. So, and if you look in the resource folder, there is a whole website called Repair What You Wear, and you can learn about all the different kinds of stitching that you do when you're working with different types of clothing. Hopefully there's no music in these slides. But what I'd like to do right now just now is share with you the video that we were watching, that we were suggesting that you watch earlier, called Fast Fashion Dining. Now, this video was made as an entry to our Young Reporters competition back in 2021. It was made by a group of young people called Remode Youth. And it's all about how fast fashion is affecting the environment. So we'll just have a quick watch of this. And hopefully, if you're inspired by this and by our lessons this week, you might want to make your own video talking about the impact of fast fashion, the things maybe that you're doing to make your fashion choices more sustainable. And you can send it in to us at ecoschools@keepscotlandbeautiful.org, and we'll put it in to our Young Reporters competition. Now, here we go. Let's have a look at this.
Total cost, planet Earth.
So it's a very simple video, but I think it's very effective in showing just how much effect we're having on the planet and the things that we need to do really to be more sustainable. Thank you so much to everyone who has been able to join us this week. Thank you to all the educators who have joined us as well for engaging with us, for helping pupils to do their amazing work, and for being an inspiration for your classes. We always enjoy hearing your feedback, and we're so glad that you're able to take the time to have your classes join us. And thank you too to all the pupils who have joined us this week, for listening to our lessons, wanting to take action for our planet, and for sharing your fantastic work as well. We can be the first sustainable generation. This is something that we need to keep in mind throughout all of our live lessons. If you've enjoyed this week, our next events are coming up on the screen just now. We have a mini live lesson, so a one-day lesson with Scottish Fair Trade Forum, which is a nice follow-on from this lesson. And that's coming up on the 22nd of February. We have Spring Clean Week, which is our annual campaign and live lesson that accompanies it. That comes up in March. We have a new lesson on Gaelic and climate justice, which will be delivered on Earth Day, 22nd of April. And then Natural Scotland Week, which is the 13th to the 17th of May. I hope that you'll be able to join us then as well. But that's all we have time for today. So bye for now.